If you are a procrastinator or a perfectionist, if you are someone who is always waiting, waiting for things to be perfect before you start, always pushing yourself too hard, feeling like you're just about to burn out, then this video is for you. I am a procrastinator and a perfectionist. Although I do have my procrastinator tendencies mostly under control these days, I wouldn't say I have my perfectionist tendencies under control. I work on them daily. Now, I know that perfectionism and procrastination tend to be two sides of the same coin because it is that very need to be perfect or for life to be perfect that can lead to procrastination in the first place. There is this great quote in a book called The Perfectionist's Guide to Losing Control by Catherine Morgan Schaffler, where she says, procrastinator perfectionists wait for the conditions to be perfect before starting. Dwelling in hesitation, they live alongside the void that forms within you when you don't do the thing you most want to do. Ouch. I feel like I have to take a deep breath every time I say that. The void that forms within you when you don't do the thing you most want to do. Now, I believe that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So how you do your relationships is how you do food, is how you do money, is how you do exercise, is how you do work, is how you do everything related to yourself. So when I decided to challenge myself to 100 push-ups a day for 30 days, I did it with my perfectionist tendencies. That is, I set a goal for myself. I decided I was going to be perfect at it. I was going to do it every day. And I didn't really consider the need for breaks. And by the end, spoiler alert, I burned out a little bit. So let's back up. Why did I challenge myself to doing 30 push-ups, 100 push-ups a day for 30 days? Basically because I had a C-section 7 years ago with my second child, and I never really felt like I got that strength back in my lower core. So I just really wanted to see if doing 100 push-ups a day for 30 days could make a difference. And I knew from doing push-up workouts that I was always sore the next day in my abs, not so much in my arms. So I thought, great, here's a really fun way to do this. Let's just do push-ups every day. That'll work my whole body and especially my core. Now, just to give you some background, I wasn't starting from scratch here. So if you can't do even one push-up, don't worry. I'm not even suggesting you do a push-up workout. This isn't what this video is about. But I just want to let you know that a couple of years ago, I could only do one push-up. And then during COVID, I found Caroline Girvan's YouTube channel, which is a workout channel, and I started working out with her. I started being able to do one push-up, and I started with 5-pound weights that I found at a thrift store. And over time, I've built that up. So now I can do 20 push-ups. On a really good day, I can do 30 in a row. And I can use, on a really good day, up to 30-pound weights. So like 60 in total. Very proud of myself. My point being that I started basically from zero with push-ups. So when I decided to challenge myself to 100 push-ups a day for 30 days, I was no longer at that 0 point. I was at a point where I knew I could do 20 push-ups in a row. And I wasn't challenging myself to do 100 push-ups all at once. I was just challenging myself to do it throughout the day. So 10 push-ups when I wake up in the morning, 10 push-ups a little bit later, just 10 push-ups throughout the day till I got to 100. So let's talk about what happened from day 1 to day 30 and how this might relate to you if you have procrastinator or perfectionist tendencies. So day 1 was pretty easy for me. I recorded myself and I learned really quickly that my form wasn't that great. So I went on YouTube again. I use YouTube for everything. And I found a video on how to do perfect push-ups. And I will post the link to that in the description box if you have any interest in push-up form, and I just improved my form through that. So a really quick lesson that I learned there was, if there's something you want to do, just start. Let it be messy in the beginning. Let yourself kind of do it poorly, and then get feedback. Get feedback from somebody else, get feedback from watching yourself, and then learn from there. And that's how you'll improve. That's how you'll grow. Now, I know we are all still thinking about the Olympics a little bit, and I found this great quote by Simone Biles where she said, "I'd rather regret the risks that didn't work out than the chances I didn't take at all." Now, I know, a 30-day push-up challenge is not the Olympics. I am no Simone Biles. But I also know from talking to procrastinators and perfectionists that it's those small things in life that we don't do, those little risks, that actually make a huge difference. Because it's those little risks that affect how we see ourselves and how we move through life. So that is my first takeaway, is whatever it is you need to do, even if it's just something tiny, just start. You'll make mistakes. It won't be perfect. It'll be messy. Maybe it won't live up to your expectations, but just start and you'll get better. You'll improve. You'll learn. You'll get feedback and you'll grow. Now, by day 14, I had made a lot of improvements in my strength. I was able to do a lot more different variations. I felt a lot stronger. I could tell that my core strength was improving, especially in my lower core. And I have a video on here on YouTube that's a hypnosis video. It's all about beating procrastination through using this 10-minute method, where you basically hypnotize yourself into seeing yourself doing whatever it is you need to do, whatever you're procrastinating on, in 10 minutes a day. So you just spend 10 minutes a day doing that one thing. And over time, it gets done. And I've used this method a lot. I've used that hypnosis video a lot when I need to, but I've never used it with exercise. And so this was really exciting for me to see that just 10 minutes a day, and that's what it amounted to when I was doing my 10 push-ups here, 10 push-ups there. By the end of the day, it was about 10 minutes of push-ups. And those 10 minutes a day made a really big difference. I was getting a lot stronger. I was able to do push-ups better. And it was really exciting to see that, just 10 minutes a day of something can make a really big difference. So if you are procrastinating on something that you really want to do, you might consider just starting with 10 minutes a day, or even 5 minutes if 10 minutes is too overwhelming for you, and just saying, I'm going to do 10 minutes today. I'm going to do 10 minutes tomorrow. And if you need it, watch my hypnosis video. It'll just kind of help you get mentally started with that. Now, this next takeaway is for the perfectionists who tend to overwork themselves and forget that they're human. So by day 18, I was starting to feel really tired. I could tell my body needed a break. I could tell my arms were just like, really? You're doing this again? And I had already learned from watching some videos on push-ups, on push-up challenges, that really doing push-ups every single day is not the best thing for you. I knew that I should be doing push-ups one day and then doing some sort of back exercise the next day. But I challenged myself. I'm a perfectionist, and I am what Gretchen Rubin calls in her book, The Four Tendencies, an upholder. So I will hold up my end of the bargain. I will follow what I say I will do, no matter what. So I had this challenge. I was gonna stick with it. But I also know a lot about burnout because I do that a lot. And so I decided to just give myself a little bit of a rest. On day 18, I just did 20 push-ups that day. On day 28, I did 20 push-ups again. So those were my little built-in rests. But by the end of it, I really didn't want to do another push-up for a long time. So, moral of the story for my perfectionist overachievers: before you start anything, ask yourself, is this sustainable? If the answer is no, and a lot of the time it is, then ask yourself if there's any way you can tweak it to make it more sustainable? Is there any way you can build more rest into what you are, into the goal that you're setting for yourself? And I know that my goal was a 30-day challenge, so that's not something that's meant to be sustainable anyway. But really, my goal was to build my core strength. And so I know, and I'm guessing you know, that you can't do something for 30 days and then be done with it. Any sort of strong foundation requires ongoing commitment, which also means it requires rest built into it. Now, my final takeaway is not just for the procrastinators or the perfectionists. This is for all of us who want to go the distance and see life as a marathon and not a sprint. And that is that no matter what your goal, you need to set yourself up for success by taking good care of your body in the way that is right for you. And I saw very clearly when I was doing this challenge that the way that I ate affected how strong I felt when I was doing push-ups. When I was on vacation and I was eating a lot more sugar and a lot more processed foods, push-ups were a lot harder for me to do. When I eat in very intentional ways that make me feel good and fuel my body in the way that's right for me, I can do a lot more push-ups and I feel a lot better. Now, I used to be very all or nothing about food. Sometimes I still can be. But these days, thanks to a program that I've been doing called DNRS, which stands for the Dynamic Neural Retraining System, it's a mouthful, I am a lot calmer about food than I used to be. I'm not super calm, but I'm calmer than I used to be. So that is improvement. But I know for myself now that I can eat the way that feels best, the way that fuels my body best and gives me the best energy, like 80-90% of the time, just kind of being intentional about that. And then the other 10-20% of the time, I can eat other things that maybe fuel me in a different way. Maybe, eating out with friends, eating out with family, doing things that are more about connection than necessarily fueling my body in the perfect way. But really making the foundation of my meals foods that make me feel good. So my final takeaway is to take care of your body, no matter what your goal is, no matter what you're doing, and fuel yourself in a way that makes you feel good, because that's going to make everything else in your life feel better too. So let's recap. If you're a procrastinator, then the best elixir for your procrastination is to just start and let it be messy, because it is within that messiness that you will get feedback on what is and isn't working, and you can shift and make improvements. And if you feel overwhelmed, start with just 10 minutes a day, or 5 if 10 is too much. And feel free to build rest in there. You don't have to do 10 minutes every single day. Maybe you just do 10 minutes 4 or 5 days a week, and then you take some days off. And if you need help with that, just watch my video called Stop Procrastinating Hypnosis. It's a 17-minute video, and it works. It works. And if you're a perfectionist and you tend to overwork yourself, then before you start any project or goal, start by asking yourself if it's sustainable, and don't move forward until you've made some changes to make it more sustainable. You want to build more rest into anything you do, and begin to become aware of your self-sabotaging patterns. For your next step, I would recommend listening to my guided meditations, I Am Enough, or Release Perfectionism and Self-Judgment Hypnosis. Those are also both here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment below. Tell me if you're a procrastinator or a perfectionist or both, and what takeaways resonated with you, or any advice that you have for other procrastinators and perfectionists, things that have helped you along the way. Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. I know there's this glare on my glasses. Let's just, okay. Yeah, but you didn't know I was videotaping that.
What? You were videotaping